That music, once you start playing that music, it's just like, whoom, we are on. You know, it's, yeah.
And dancing, everyone was having a great time in the studio tonight.
Fred and Ethel and Ricky and Lucy, they went to California in that low rider. And once they got there, boom, 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 the hydraulics.
That is correct.
That is correct.
Could you see that Fred with the bandana?
Would he be a blood or a crit?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Wow. Hey, this is episode 6, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to believe we've been doing this. Yeah.
6 times in a row. It is kind of amazing, especially after that start.
I mean, it only took us a year.
Yeah. It did. So, everybody have a good week?
Okay, yeah.
Well, yeah.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Whatever.
You know, for a short week, this week seemed pretty long. I thought it was just going to go boom, and I keep thinking, you know, I always get my days confused when we have short weeks, but normally I'm thinking this is the day ahead of when it is, and this time it's been the day behind. It's like I just totally messed up. But
I wake up some mornings and say, what day is this? What
Yeah.
am I supposed to go to work?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I already did work. This was a nap. Oh, my God.
Like
Jeopardy's on. Oh, Lord.
That's a good point. Well, this is a short week because of Labor Day, and we normally record on Thursdays.
Yes.
And so this is kind of a weird week. It just didn't feel right kind of the whole week.
yeah.
Right? But it's been good. So everybody's having a good week, and you're all ready to kind of sit down and get through this again?
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
It's a good episode tonight.
That is correct.
Yeah, we're starting to get good feedback. I mean, we're in episode 6, and, you know, for us, we're going to try to get as many recorded before we launch episode 1, but we've sort of started throwing them out there for people to give listens to, and we're getting a lot of really positive feedback for those who are listening to them.
What do they say?
Well, maybe they're just being kind, but they think we're witty.
Oh, well. Half-witty.
Yes, thank you.
Dim-witty.
But this, she's got a million of them, folks.
Hot cha-cha-cha-cha.
But anyway, so good.
What's not to love about Lucy? Now,
Right.
come on, you know.
Right.
I think so many facets to the show.
You know, I was wondering this the other day. You know, Steubenville, Ohio is where
They make the glass.
they do.
Well, that's where
They make a
Dean
car.
Martin.
Dean Martin, thank you very
Yep.
much. And the town tries their very best to honor Dean Martin with murals painted on the side of on the Kroger, whatever the local store is, and they do a kind of a Dean Martin fan club meeting there once a year. But where is it that Lucy? Is it Youngstown?
Jamestown, New York.
Okay, so I wonder if they do anything.
Probably. I mean, we'll look at James Dean and wherever it is in Indiana, and
Fairmount.
Red Skelton has they have the
Terre
clown. No,
Vincent.
Vincent's okay.
They have the clown festival. I mean, you guys, they do in July.
Oh, my idea of hell.
Yeah, the clown festival.
Chlorophobic.
But there's the museum, the Red Skelton Museum of Comedy. All of his stuff is down there.
We have a local guy that works down there. He left the library to go work there. And
who is his name?
Oh, gosh.
Not Marvin.
Clem? Is it Clem? Is it?
I think I've.
You know, it's Judy Kratzner's son. Mark?
Yeah,
Mark.
I've met him. I've worked with him because I wrote the book on clowning around, and yeah.
He made for Halloween. He made a costume. He was Freddy the Freeler. He had the top hat. He had the makeup down. He had an old nubby stogie.
Yeah.
And I mean, he had the fingers snipped off the gloves, and I mean, he was.
And I was going to say, you go down there, and the costumes are there. They took me in the back room. There are, the trays like artists use that have the narrow depth drawers that you can slide in and out. Look kind of like tool drawers in a tool chest. Those were filled filled with sketches because Red Skelton would sit down and take a 4x5 piece of paper, or some of them were 2x3. I mean, just scrap pieces of paper, and he would draw
And just
draw,
doodle.
constantly.
Really?
Yeah, he wrote a short story every day
Oh, no kidding.
whenever he got up. Yeah, I mean, the man was amazing.
Don't you think that's also a way of people keeping their mind sharp and their craft sharp? You know, it'd be like somebody getting up and painting or whatever every day. That's interesting.
But anyway, yeah. So I think most of these places that have someone famous try and make a buck off of it.
Yeah.
I mean, for lack
unless
of a
you're
better term.
doodling very bad things, you know, like sharp knives and people.
Right, right.
Kilroy was here, or something
Yeah.
like that.
That's interesting. And I did tell you this story about being in Gatlinburg. Did I tell that on a previous episode? We were in Gatlinburg, and we met this guy, and my wife kept saying, "Why does that? I feel like I know him." And he was the Red Skelton impersonator.
Oh,
He had his own show down there. And,
Yeah, you did
and he was
mention that.
really good. Everything about his persona was really very what you would believe it would be like meeting Red Skelton's persona, if that makes sense. So that's awesome.
So, like, did you get like a lot of pictures autographed by him and sell them on eBay for a?
Yeah, yeah. You know what he did? We were kind of at this little strip mall, and he called us in. We saw us walk by, and he called us in, and he was just being really, really funny and engaging us. And we had a grandkid with us or whatever, and he was being fun, having fun with us, and that's why my wife was like, "How do I know this guy?" And so that was it, right?
Yeah, so Jamestown, New York, we maybe need to look up and see if they have a Lucy festival.
Isn't
Can
that
you
where they-
imagine a bunch of people dressing up like like Lucy? Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, but you know, there's going to be that one guy that dresses as Fred, or Carolyn Appleby. A guy dressed as Carolyn Appleby. This day, this would be very appropriate.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
We just want to go on a
As
record.
long as the shoes and the purse match.
Yes, because she was
Is
very
that a
fastidious.
euphemism for something else?
Yeah,
Well, no, I really did.
yeah, like
no, I
like the
really
carpet and the drapes. That
What
one,
the
I
kids are
got
calling
you.
it now.
No, I should know better than to try and even be halfway serious whenever we
Yeah.
get together.
Yeah,
But I was actually.
I'm
it's a
sorry.
tough. This is a tough crowd. It's really.
Well,
a
I was
tough
thinking
crowd.
of the fashion statement. Yeah.
Yeah, so we need to look that up before next week.
But isn't that where they had that really scary looking statue of Lucy? Remember from,
That's
her
right.
teeth were like,
It was-
it was at Bronx, and they had to redo it.
I
I remember
you
that. Is that where that
Yes.
was? I couldn't
Where
remember
else
if
would
that
it
was
be
in-
other than her hometown?
that, or I was thinking maybe California because they lived most of their lives in California.
Okay.
I don't
Well,
know.
hey.
We'll look that up. That'll be our homework for next
Scary
week.
If you're
Lucy.
listening.
Where is the Scary
Yeah.
Lucy
The
statue?
scary Lucy.
Let's figure out who does. There's got to be an international I Love Lucy or Lucille Ball fan club, right? Let's get somebody on the phone. Let's do that. Not
Would
tonight,
that would be fun.
but just
that would
let's
be
just
fun.
get them on there. We'll ask them lots of questions. Somebody that may have actually known her, because the best books about Lucy are people that actually knew her. And the one guy that lived near her, and they played backgammon together every day. Had great stories. I mean, it was an aging Lucy, but she did not lose her wit.
And the older she got, the deeper that voice got, kid. Hey, Fred.
Hand me the ashtray, honey.
Nah. Don't clean it. I'll pick through it. I might find some stubs I like.
God.
That was right. Remember, she tried drama and is actually pretty good. Kind of late in her career. That Stone Pillow or whatever it was that she did.
that was her last movie. She played a homeless lady.
There you go. That sounds familiar.
We have it at the library.
Barcode number.
I'm good, but I'm not that good.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, do you guys want to dive into tonight? See
Let's
what's
get
happening?
to it.
Yes, what episode, Rob?
So this is episode, Nancy.
6, and I believe it's called The Audition.
You're correct. So this is very, I don't want to say typical, but it is. It's typical of. So this is the setup here. All right.
Ricky? Ricky?
Yeah?
Did you find out when you're going to do your TV audition?
No, I didn't.
You did too.
I did not. It's any day now. They're going to tell me whenever they're ready.
You know, I've been thinking about shows like Burns and Allen. George Burns uses his wife on the show. Why don't you?
I love to. You think she would leave George?
Well, I know one thing. You'll never be a success on television.
And what do you mean by that, pray tell?
Because you don't have a pretty girl in your act, that's why.
Okay, here we go again. I'll get along.
Everybody knows that you have to have a pretty girl in your act to demonstrate the sponsor's product.
Really?
Sure, she eats it or drinks it or waxes the floor with it or cuts potatoes with it or drives off in it or smokes it.
So?
So how would you like to have your sponsor's product demonstrated by a gorgeous redhead?
I love it.
Oh, you would?
You know where I can find one?
Oh.
¡Ay! ¡Ay, ay, ay! ¿Qué pasó? Me costó el oído la muchacha. ¡Ay, qué barbaridad!
Now,
Well, there's your setup.
Is that where she poured the boiling hot oil on it?
Yeah. She elbowed him. He's shaving during that time. You know, sometimes the clips don't always hold up in terms of people who are listening, but most of us have seen, and I'm guessing that most of the people who are listening to this have seen those episodes, and we'll look them up as well.
These are kind of good reminders for me as we're doing them. It's like I forgot some of the subtle little nuances in each particular episode. You know, I remembered the episode, but yet the little things I'd forgotten. So yeah,
that's a fun episode. So there's your premise. Lucy wants to get into show business. Who would have known?
Who would have known?
And I bet, predicting things like this, I bet somehow she finds a way before the show's over.
That's a good guess. Hold on a second. Here's one of my favorite drops.
Has she ever considered acting?
Of course.
I've got more talent in my little finger than half of those women in Hollywood. Lucy, you can't be in the show.
So the next part was they're talking about they're trying to find a way of keeping her away from. Jump in here if I'm saying this wrong, but to keep her away from the audition.
Well, Fred comes in, and if I remember right, he comes in and he knows that tonight's the night for the show because he's inadvertently opened the wrong telegram for Ricky. So he's letting him know, and they're trying to figure out how they're going to keep things away from Lucy, but. As Ricky's looking through the desk drawer, there's a bunch of papers, and he says, "Oh, it's for the lawyer about our will." And so then they decide that, hey, getting her to go down to the lawyer is a good way to keep her occupied for the day. So that's kind of where that's kind of how that goes to get her away from the house and not to keep asking.
So that's where this clip comes in. He has found that, and they're going to use that as a way of
see, the
distracting
audition
her.
is, what'd he say? What'd he say?
No, it wasn't my agent. It was the mailman.
Oh.
He brought some papers for us to sign, and we got to take them down to the attorneys. It's my will.
Well, I'll get your breakfast. Your will?
Yes.
What's the matter, Ricky?
Nothing is the matter.
There is, too. You're keeping something from me. You're sick.
I never felt better in my whole life.
Then you lied to me and we were married. You're really older than I think.
Now, look, honey, it's just good business. The lawyer says I should have a will. Then everything is legally taken care of if anything happens.
I won't discuss it.
Now, look, honey, you have to know how things are arranged so you know what to do when I go.
Oh, all right, Ricky.
That's better. Now, what's the matter?
Oh, Ricky, I miss you so.
For goodness sakes, Lucy, I haven't gone yet.
Don't go, Ricky, don't go.
Now, look, honey, I'm perfectly well. I feel fine. But let's face it, we all have to go sometime.
We do?
We do unless you know something the rest of us don't.
No, I don't. I'll get your breakfast.
All right, honey. He brought your will along, too.
My will?
Yeah.
What for? You're the one that's going.
Now, Lucy,
What are you trying to do? Shove me ahead of you in line?
now look, honey.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's great stuff, isn't it? It worked in all. It worked in all the elements, didn't it?
it did. It did.
It's pretty remarkable.
I'm not going anywhere. We do have a doomsday file at home.
You do?
And everybody go, what do you mean? I said, well, you know, in case I go before my husband, you know, he doesn't know where anything is. So
Yeah.
I've written down all the policies and this and all that and where we keep the flour because, you know, he doesn't.
And what flour is actually used for?
Yeah. I mean,
That's funny.
I mean, really, no, he has not a clue. I handle all that stuff. So.
Yeah, yeah, that's a great. Really, that is a great gift. My wife and I have begun spending more time kind of processing what different things mean because as you get older and you try to figure out what you want to do with your stuff when you're gone or where documents are, that kind of thing.
You know, my kids are just going to have to figure it out on their own. Although my mother had told a story about her, I guess would have been her grandmother. It would have been my great grandmother. Whenever they were going through her things and clearing out her house and everything, they were getting the books out, and a $5 bill fell out of one of the books. She said they spent hours going through books thinking that maybe she
More
had
money.
Yeah.
And, and people that age would hide money in their
They
homes.
would,
Yes,
You know, and that was back
When the banks had failed.
Well,
they-
and that was when $5 would have been about like maybe 20 now or more.
50.
I don't.
she's
maybe
clearly
about-
making this up as she goes
No,
along.
no.
But
I
go
mean,
ahead.
but I mean, well, you say that, and people are going. I mean, my grandson go
Yeah.
$5. You
That's
know,
not a big deal, sure.
Yeah, but I mean, it was done whenever. Well, it was 60 plus years ago. So $5 would have been something that you would not have wanted to throw a bunch of books at, because if every book had even one $5 bill in it,
Sure.
she had a lot of books.
Yeah.
It was the only $5 bill in all of the books.
After going through 600 books, you
Yeah,
realize that,
yeah.
right? Years ago, I had I was working in the church world at the time, and an elderly parishioner, called and said that she'd lost her husband, and she discovered in his final days that he told her, by the way, I've been hiding money in the house in books. So they were probably both close to 90, and she says, so she calls the church and she says, look, I've been going through books for days. He literally had 1,000 or so books or in his library, which is not uncommon, really. And so would people from the church come over and go through them? So the senior pastor says to the staff, tells them the story, does anybody want to help? Well, all their hands go up. Yeah. And off they go. And I think it was the same thing. They went through hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of books. And I think there was about $20 total they found. So I don't know what he was thinking. You know, we found a few books hollowed out for guns and that kind of thing.
I just want to have a big party.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought
I want a big party.
and there's going to be an invitation list. I've got some people.
Gonna need a bouncer, are you?
Yeah.
I said this probably 40 years ago, okay, given recent things that we've heard in the news. But there are some people that I do not want at my funeral. I do not want the crocodile tears over what a wonderful person I was whenever they don't have time to
Right.
speak to me.
Return
it's-
your phone
yeah.
calls. So you'll do like John McCain and make a do not invite list.
I've already told my kid there's really only one person on my do not invite list, and I said,
Is it also Donald Trump?
no, actually, but maybe I don't think that would be a consideration, but I wonder, should I put some things down like that, some people like that down?
Maybe.
I don't know.
I've already talked to Rob Luce.
Yeah.
and
A local funeral home director.
Rob Luce, and I said, I want this, I do want to be cremated.
Rob's a great guy, by the way.
Yes, he is.
Yes.
He's a wonderful person. And I said, can you make a casket with a crank on the side. Plays. The pop goes the weasel.
Yeah, yeah, like a Jack in the Box. I knew where this was headed. And everyone's on the edge of their seats. Yeah. She wouldn't. She wouldn't.
And then I'm going to come catapulting.
Yeah.
Well, now they can do so many things with.
I really want to be a tree. They'll take your ashes
yeah.
and put it in a thing with a little.
Well, and they do want. Well, they can make you a diamond. But then but I said I do not want my granddaughter to. Here's Nana. This is Nana. And then, and one thing I do when they can take maybe like a teaspoon of your ashes and do the blown glass, and those are gorgeous.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to have some made into marbles too for people that they can
have
carry.
lost theirs.
They can carry. Well, they can carry a lucky marble. I've got probably a dozen people. I do that, and then a paperweight for each of my grandkids, and then the rest of my ashes. I'm going to have a lot of ashes. I figured there's a lot of ashes, so then the other one's going to be a tree.
I'm just worried about the grease fire that might happen. Oh Lord Almighty! It's a 5-alarm fire.
Yeah.
Get the giant baking soda can.
Yeah. I'll end up as kitty litter or something. It'll be.
What was that? There was a show that. What was that? Meet the Fockers or parent.
Oh yeah.
What was it?
Meet the Parents. And then the second one was Meet the
one. Yeah.
Fockers.
And where they dump the urn off, and the cat's using it for kitty litter.
Oh no!
Tracking it around the house.
Gee,
Oh,
how do we get from there?
I don't know. We have gone.
Being in the show.
The will, and
our rabbit trails have grown rabbit trails. So here is the next piece is it's the big show. It's his big audition because he was going to have a TV show, and he invites some guests on.
yeah. Well, the sponsors, and then I think too in the afternoon whenever they're practicing, Boffo the clown has this accident, and so he's waiting. He's resting up at the Ricardos.
He was going to be part of the act.
Yeah, and
Boffo wrecks his bike.
Yep.
And Ricky says, "Go to my apartment and rest."
Because nobody's home, so
Right.
he tells Fred to take him there. So.
Because Lucy is off
getting
dealing
the
with
wheels
the will
taken care
Gotcha.
of.
Okay. So this is when Lucy comes home and Boffo the clown is there.
He had one of his tiny trike.
had one
Tiny
of what?
trike.
Yeah. That's a different guy.
That was it. Yeah, this was it. This was a
Yeah.
full-size bike. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yes, I remember that one. I don't know.
Yeah. All right.
Buffalo, you scared me to death. What are you doing here?
I got hurt at rehearsal this afternoon, and Ricky said I could come over here and lie down for a while.
Oh, what rehearsal? Are they getting ready for that TV audition?
Sure, the show's tonight.
Tonight? Why, that big bum. So that's why he sent me on a wild goose chase, just to get rid of me. Well, are you all right, Buffalo? Will you be able to do the show tonight?
Well, I guess I can if the bicycle works. The brake's locked.
Oh.
I'll take a look at it.
Oh, you got it here.
Yeah.
How is it?
Seems all right. Well, let's try it, huh?
Boffo goes through the door.
Here. Buffalo, are you badly hurt?
Oh, you better tell Ricky to get somebody else.
But who?
I don't care. Why don't you take my place?
Me? Oh, don't be ridiculous.
Well, we know where that's heading, don't we?
Not good.
So Boffo tries the bike out in the apartment, the breaks, and he goes through the kitchen door head first.
Oh.
So Baffo's now out of it, and she has Baffo's bag of tricks with her.
It just gets better and better.
Yeah, and that's really that leads to a great scene. She shows up at the let me find this drop where she shows up at the
Tropicana?
yes.
The Tropicana.
And Ricky has checked in with Fred and he said, Fred, it looks like Baffo's not going to make it, kind of thing. So we're just going to close the show. So here we go.
Isn't Buffalo here yet?
No sign of him anywhere.
Oh, that's a fine thing. Look at that. The sponsors are here. What am I going to do? They don't look too happy.
Are you kidding? For them, that's hilarious.
I'll just have to wrap up the show. That's all I can do. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you very much for being such a wonderful audience. But we'll have to conclude the show because of time.
Have you seen a fellow named Risky Risker Doe? I'm looking for a I'm looking for a fellow named...
Oh, Who are you looking for?
I'm looking for a fellow named Risky Risker Doe.
Well, I'm Ricky Ricardo.
Oh, well, pleased to meet you.
Pleased to meet you.
You know where I find Risky Risker Doe?
Now, look, Clem, we're doing...
That's a great line.
Yeah.
So she comes in as the clown, not with the makeup, but with the suit and the hat and all that, and then proceeds to do the act, not with the bike, but with the cello. Correct.
There's always room for cello.
Which was Jello was a sponsor on radio.
Yeah.
right?
Of Soupy Sales.
But
remember-
of My Favorite Husband as well.
Was it?
She would say, Jello, everybody, or something like that, right?
I don't know, because I thought Philip Morris was their sponsor for I Love Lucy.
I Love Lucy it was, but My Favorite
Oh,
Husband, it was
okay.
Jello, yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, so, and that was the whole thing, the whole scene. And then didn't she does the seal thing?
She does.
That's, yeah, the or
Yeah, at the end,
with
he's
the horns
saying
with
if
her-
she can, and she plays the horns with her nose, and
Yeah.
that's pretty much, that's pretty much the scene. There was a lot of physical comedy. I think Lucy probably more than maybe I don't know though. Carol Burnett, there was some
did a lot of physical
there
comedy.
was a lot of physical comedy, and Red Skelton did a lot of physical comedy. But those three,
Right.
the stand-up comedians don't do. That's not their forte, So Lucy was definitely in a lot of the shows. You had to be watching to get
Right.
some of the stuff. And I don't know that there's a show, because it was specifically about her getting on a television show. Was there a My Favorite Husband corresponding version to this?
Not that I could find, but I think primarily because she was not an entertainer in that,
Right.
but a housewife.
Yeah.
And,
I was going to say, because a lot of them were very similar, so I didn't know.
yeah. So there were
I didn't- yeah.
there were several, and again, as we've mentioned in the past, they the same writers carried over from My Favorite Husband to I Love Lucy, but I think just simply because the setup was so
Right.
different that
I
there
didn't
wasn't-
think there would have been, but
Right.
because I did think of that after I had watched it.
Right, and I think there were 2 seasons of My Favorite Husband, and there were 7 seasons of I Love Lucy, and there was more out there. So.
Were there 7 of I Love Lucy or 7 altogether?
We debated this like week 1 about
I
where they
think-
were in the rankings.
I think there were. I was reading some today, and I think there may have been 5 seasons of the half-hour show, and then it went to the hour version. But I'm
and the
not
hour
sure.
just wasn't as good.
It wasn't. They pulled. Well, I think part of it they were feeling like it was getting too predictable. For the half hour, it was constantly Lucy trying to get into the show and Ricky saying no, Lucy trying to get in the show. There were so many that were like that the ones that were not like that are the ones that really kind of stand out. Like the chocolate and the
Kramer's Candy Kitchen.
Yeah.
And stomping the
right.
grapes.
That's right.
Yeah, you
Well,
know.
there-
Well, and she did the stomping the grapes though because somebody wanted her to be a tourist, and she thought she was going to get a little bit of the flavor of Italy, and find out that he just wanted her as a tourist and not
she
as an
wanted to soak up-
Italian, because she was going to be an Italian.
Yeah, she wanted to soak up the local color. Remember?
Literally.
So, yeah.
But
that-
yeah.
What's your favorite episode?
You know what? I was going to say there was a period of time there, and I think it was season 2, where the one where she's locked in the freezer, the Lucy does a TV commercial. Lucy, the one with the chocolate factory is Lucy job hunting or job switching, something like that. And there were several of those that it was like the sweet spot for Lucy, that when people remember Lucy and you see collectibles or things like that, those episodes were all
I
happened in
think-
about a season.
Yeah, I think the kitchen or the candy factory and Vitamita Vegemin
Vitamita Vegemin.
are two. Do you pop out at parties? Are you unpopular?
Are you on?
You know, that was really...
This is pretty tasty.
Yeah. when she the first teaspoon she takes and she shudders, you know what I'm saying, is one of the funniest scenes I thought, physical comedy-wise, she's ever done.
And you know what that was? It was apple pectin. She had to have something that she could take.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. So
that is-
we'll have to wait. I better wait and save all that for when that version's on.
Yeah, there'll be tons of stuff.
Yeah.
There are tons of stuff
But
for that.
the thing is, with this show that we're doing tonight, there was a little twist at the end.
Yes, there was. And this is it here. Let me mention also, this is after their show. This is after the show and everything is done, and she does
After
her
the- yeah.
act for Buffo the Clown, and then this is the evening after. So, or this is that evening.
Ricky, where you been? It's after 3 o'clock. Oh, Ricky, talk to me. Oh, I was only trying to help, honest. I never dreamed they'd offer me a contract.
And that was it.
Yeah.
Ricky didn't get his show, but Lucy got her chance.
And turned it down so that she could continue to
Be a nice submissive
bring
wife.
stay at home,
Shattered her dreams.
bring him his slippers, cook him his meals,
Rained on
clean
her
him his
parade.
house.
Burst her balloons.
Which, by the way, is a source of contention in this I'm Out number. So,
Not a source of contention for me. I just don't do it unless I'm in
Yeah.
the mood.
yeah. What do I want from you, Lucy? I want you to have me dinner ready. I want you to bring me my slippers. I want you.
You don't
to-
wear slippers.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
So-
That's what he just has this view.
That's right.
you
And
know.
the way a good submissive wife should be.
And it was the thing, we call it that now. In the 50s, that's, if you've seen some of the things that were in Better Homes and Garden, Family Circle, and in the late 40s and early 50s.
How to please your man.
Yes, I mean, they are, you read them now and it's,
Oh, you just laugh.
yeah, and they,
What pipe were they smoking?
Yeah. Yeah. So that's it.
That's
it. That's the episode. So it's a lot of physical comedy. It's really worth watching. And when you see that little act she does in the middle, that's another one of those classic moments
It
of
is.
Lucy
It is.
and the physical comedy and all that. So that's awesome. So do you guys have? I wanted to play this out. What we started, what we introduced coming in. I want to go out with, but I don't want to go out with the same part we came in with. So I want you to hear
Okay.
the rest of this. So it's
okay.
we did the harmony on that.
you guys are a mess. Anything else for tonight?
Boy, I can't think of anything. What about you, Martha?
I'm tired. I had a long day at the library.
Yes.
Ooh, but now this music's.
I was going to
Yes.
say, we'll perk us up again.
Hey guys, until next week.
All righty.
Have a good week.
Have a good week.
Goodbye.
Hey, guys, thanks for sticking around. Next up, My Favorite Husband with Richard Denning and Lucille Ball. It's the Young Matron League tryout from October 2nd, 1948. It's My Favorite Husband.
We present My Favorite Husband, a new series based on the delightful stories of Isabel Scott Rorick's gay, sophisticated Mr. and Mrs. Cougat, starring Lucille Ball with Richard Denning. The Cougats, Liz, busy young matron, and George, busy young fifth vice president of the bank, are one of the few couples we know who live together and like it. Let's look in on them now as Liz waits for George to come down to breakfast.
Oh, Katie.
Yes, Mrs. Cougat, what is it?
Katie, you don't have to serve breakfast this morning. I'll serve Mr. Cougat myself.
Oh, don't you feel well, Mrs. Cougat?
Yes, but there's a special little favor I want from him, and if he thinks I cooked the breakfast, it might put him in a better frame of mind.
Well, if he thinks you cooked it, Mrs. Cougat, I don't think he'll eat it.
Well, fix something real nice, like scrambled eggs.
I'll make a nice omelet. Oh, you can always get around a man with food. I used to get anything I wanted from my first husband, Clarence. I just cooked him an omelet and put in a whole bottle of Tabasco sauce.
A whole bottle?
Uh-huh. And I wouldn't give him a glass of water till he said yes.
Well, just leave out the Tabasco. I've done everything to keep George in a nice frame of mind this morning.
All right.
Liz! Hey, Liz, where are my clothes? I can't find them anywhere.
They're all there, George. I hung them up.
Well, what did you do that for? I had them all neatly laid out on the floor where I could find them.
Hello? Oh, hello, Anne. Lunch? How can you think of it? Aren't you going to the tryouts for the play? The Young Matrons League. It's in the paper this morning. On the society page, I just put it in front of George's place at the table. And you know what, Anne? Anatole Brodny is going to be in the audience on opening night. Yes, the famous Hollywood director. He used to live in town here. Oh, I hope George will let me try out. Oh, here he comes. I'll call you later, Anne. Good morning, dear.
Good morning, there. Well, what's for breakfast? Katie!
I told Katie to work around the house.
Are you cooking breakfast?
Well, you're my favorite husband.
Okay. What do you want from me, Liz?
Me? Want?
Mrs. Cougat, can I see you a minute?
What is it, Katie? Something wrong?
Go right ahead, Katie. Tell me. I have nothing to keep from Mr. Cougat.
Breakfast won't be ready for a while because the omelet you were cooking spoiled and you had to make another one.
Thank you, Katie.
I hope you didn't put too much salt in it, Liz.
Don't be funny. Hey, why don't you read your paper, George?
You mean you let me?
Certainly, dear. See, it's all set for you. All you have to do is read.
Oh, who opened this paper to the society page?
Now, you could do worse than read the society page. There's some very interesting things there.
There are?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, let's see. Well, I should say. Just look at this. At a late afternoon ceremony, Deborah Ann Rasmussen became the bride of Arthur Sponduli Cranfeather, Jr.
Why don't you read something else, dear?
No, this is exciting. The bride wore a bouffant gown of white Chantilly lace, and her head was covered by a lace cap from which fell a large veil.
That's veil.
Veil, they all look silly. The bridesmaids wore aqua taffeta gowns.
Oh, why don't you try somewhere around the middle of the page, darling? Down there.
Oh, yes, here. Overheard at tea. People wouldn't be so incompatible if the men had more income and the girls were more patable. Oh, that's very good.
Here, give me the paper. I'll see if I can find something.
Oh, now, wait a minute, dear wife. What's all this interest in the society page? Oh, Young Matrons League to present annual play.
Oh, really? I didn't see that.
There's one thing I can't understand. It's why a bunch of respectable married women want to get up on a stage and make jackasses out of themselves.
I don't see anything wrong with it. And they don't make jackasses out of themselves.
Oh, come now, Liz. You know they do.
You didn't feel this way last year. You let me be in the play.
That's what started me feeling this way.
Oh, you think I'm a jackass?
I didn't say that.
Well, you implied it. Didn't you?
No comment.
George Cugat, you are calling your wife a jackass by keeping your mouth shut.
Well, think of the trouble I'd get into if I opened it. Oh, look, why don't you forget it, honey? I know what you're leading to. You want to be in the play.
I do not. I didn't even hear about it until you happened to find it in the paper.
Really?
Don't you believe me?
Oh, certainly, dear. I wonder what play they're going to do.
John Loves Mary.
Well, forget it, Liz. The answer is no. Not after last year.
That wasn't my fault.
Well, you're supposed to feel at ease on the stage. Move around. Oh, I almost died when that fella came bounding in and called, "Run for your life! The dam has broken!" And you just sat there. Well, I know how you felt. I've had stage fright, too.
I didn't have stage fright.
Well, then why didn't you get up when the dam broke?
Because when I sat down, a strap broke. I'll tell you something else, George Cugat. There's going to be a famous Hollywood director in the audience on opening night, and I'll bet you if he sees me, he'll offer me a contract.
Oh, Liz, stop it. You're talking like a child.
Come on, we'll make a bet. How much?
Oh, no, you don't. This is just a trick, so I'll let you be in the play. Well, I have to go to the office, dear. Sorry, I had to deprive you of a Hollywood career.
Very funny. What has Betty Grable got that I haven't got? Or Lana Turner?
Nothing, dear. In fact, you have something they haven't got.
I have what?
Me. Well, see you later, dear. If you want me, I'll be at the bank.
Hello, Anne. Liz, I just spoke to George about being in the play. Yes, he put his foot down. Absolutely no. He was really definite about it. What time are we going to the tryouts? Of course I am. It's a challenge now. If I get the part, think how surprised George will be on opening night, to say nothing of that Hollywood director. Who, me? Don't be silly. A Hollywood contract is the last thing in the world I want. I'd just like to show George I could get one if I wanted to. Goodbye, Anne.
I'll get the door, Mrs. Cugat. I know that horn. It's Mr. Cartwright.
Good old Corey. Gee, I'm glad he dropped by.
What does Mr. Cartwright do for a living, Mrs. Cugat?
Oh, nothing, Katie. He's just a very eligible bachelor.
Well, from what I gather, he chases women for a living.
Now, that's not exactly fair, Katie. Women chase him for a living. Only none of them have caught him as yet.
Well, I'll let him in.
Greetings, dear. Heaven's gift to unmarried young America is here.
Corey Cartwright, am I glad you dropped by. I want you to help me with something.
You know me, Liz. Anything up to murder. And for you, I may go a step farther. Who do you want me to rub out? I mean, or should I say, whom do you want me to rub out?
You're never serious, are you? You'll get married someday. By the way, how's your new girlfriend?
Which one?
That little redhead.
Which one?
Her name was Mary.
Which one? What was her last name?
What a life you must lead. If I remember, it was Johnson.
Mary Johnson. Well, she hasn't called me in ages. I've got her name in my book. Yes. Here it is. Mary Johnson, R-H-R-W.
Would you mind decoding that for me?
Not at all. R-H, that means redhead.
Mm-hmm. What's the other R for?
Real. And the W is my kissing guide.
Oh, I get it. Won't, huh?
No.
Will?
No. Wow.
You know, you've got more on your girls than the FBI has. Next thing, you'll be giving them a loyalty check.
Oh, enough about me and Amour.
No, wait a minute. If you had my name in your book, what would it say?
I have.
Oh.
Here.
Oh, let's see. Liz Cugat. R-H-R-W?
Keep going.
W-I-W-G. Holy cow, what does that mean?
Wish I were George.
Oh, that's sweet, Corey. You're such a good friend.
Now, what was on your pretty mind when I came in?
Corey, George doesn't want me to be in the play the young matrons are putting on, but I want to get a part and show him I can act. Now, if I get a part, will you see that George is out somewhere on the nights I have to go to rehearsals?
Sure, it'll be worth it to see the look on his face opening night.
Gee, thanks, Corey. Now I have to rush right down to the tryout.
Oh, me too. I'm picking up George, and we're having lunch with Anatole Brodny.
Well, don't tell him you were here or say anything about... Who'd you say you were having lunch with?
Whom?
All right, whom is eating lunch with you?
Anatole Brodny. He's an old college chum of ours who made good out in Hollywood. You know, I never thought he'd have what it takes. He was a real goof.
Maybe that's what it takes. Listen, Corey, try to get George to bring him to the house, will you? If I can make an impression on him in my own home, it'll be half the battle.
Well, I'll try, but I don't think George will go for it.
Well, then you bring him. Promise me you'll try.
Okay, promise.
Thanks, Corey. You're a real pal.
Let's come to order, girls. Girls, to order. I'd like you to meet the director of our little show. Miss Worthinghill from the drama department of Sixley College.
How do you do? Before we start tryouts, I'd like to tell you about the way I direct. I stress naturalness. Every word you say must sound real, vital, and natural. How many of us have heard an actress on the stage say to her fiancé, "Darling, I love you"? How much more believable it would have been to us if she had been natural and said, "Darling, I love you."
Isn't she wonderful, Mrs. Cougar?
What? Oh, yes.
She could have been a great actress.
Oh.
Doesn't she remind you of Cornell?
No, she reminds me of Notre Dame.
Well, now to the parts. We have two main parts. One is a beautiful young girl of 18.
Oh, that's just perfect for me.
The other part is a young matron of 36. This is the main part.
Oh, well, I'll try it. But I'll have to be a pretty good actress to portray anyone that old.
Good. Let me look at you. Oh, my dear, you're just the type.
Well, you don't have to get nasty about it.
Now then, here is the scene I want you to read. You are crying your heart out because your lover has left you.
Uh-huh.
Suddenly, you hear the bark of a dog.
Oh.
It is his dog. He has come back.
Uh-huh.
You run to your lover, laughing now as hard as you were crying before. You say to him, "Hold me in your arms." Then, seeing the dog is on the sofa, you say to it, "Leave quickly. You are not supposed to be in here."
Oh.
Have you got it?
Yes.
Now then, you are crying your heart out. Oh, no. You'll have to do better than that. I said you are crying your heart out. Like this. What are you laughing for?
Because my lover is coming.
We haven't reached that part. I was showing you how to cry.
Oh, I thought that was the dog.
We will continue. But you must practice that crying if you wish to get the part in the final auditions.
Uh-huh.
Now you hear the dog. You sound like you just heard a joke. This is a laugh of hysteria, wild and abandoned. Oh, you must practice that, too. Now for your lines. Go ahead.
Hold me in your arms. Leave quickly. You're not supposed to be in here.
Not bad at all. A little practice, and I think you'll be a strong contender for the part.
Oh, don't worry, Mrs. Worthingale. I'll practice.
Oh, hello, Mr. Cougat. Is there something wrong?
No, Katie, I just had to run home for some papers I left in the study. Is Mrs. Cougat home?
Yes, she went out for a while, but she came back and went right into her room and closed the door. Hasn't come out since.
That doesn't sound like her. I hope she isn't sick. We'd better go and see.
Oh, she hasn't looked any too well lately.
Her door is still closed. I'll just not... What's that?
She's crying.
Oh, the poor kid. I'd better go in and see what's the matter. Oh, now, wait a minute. Let's be sure it's not my fault. Our anniversary is in December. Her birthday is in August. Her mother's birthday is in June. No, I'm in the clear.
Oh, she's crying her little heart out.
Come in with me, Katie. I get all funny when she cries. Did you hear what I heard?
I'm not sure. What did you hear?
It's a dog. She's got a dog in there. Oh, well, she was probably crying because she didn't think I'd let her keep it.
Oh, the poor, sensitive soul.
Well, she's all right now. That's all it was, Katie. She's got a dog in there.
Take me in your arms.
I'd better go and take a look at that dog.
I have some work to do.
Quiet. I don't think she knows we're here.
Leave quickly. You're not supposed to be here.
She knows we're here. Let me in. Liz, let me in. Do you hear?
Hello, George. What's new?
What's new? What are you doing in here?
Me? I was just sleeping. You woke me up. What's the matter with you? What are you whistling for?
Nothing. Can't a fellow whistle?
Well, what are you looking under the bed for? Did you lose anything?
Oh, I don't know yet. What's in the closet, Liz?
You know what's in the closet.
Well, I'll just take another look. Nothing but clothes.
What'd you expect to find? The Tony twins?
What was going on in here, Liz?
I told you I was asleep. Maybe I had a nightmare. That's it. I had a nightmare. Or was it a daymare? It's daytime, isn't it?
You'd better lie down again, dear. Try to get some rest.
Oh, it's nothing, George. You run along. I'll be all right.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'd better stay home for the rest of the day.
No. I'll be fine, honest.
Well, all right, but I'll come home early. And don't get up. Just rest.
All right, honey. Bye-bye.
Katie.
Yes, Mr. Cougat.
I'm worried about her. I think I'll see a psychiatrist and get some advice.
Dr. Schweinkamp will see you now, Mr. Cougat.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Doctor. My name is Cougat.
I see. Lie down, Mr. Cougat.
Oh, it's not for me. It's for someone else.
Of course, I understand perfectly. Lie down, Mr. Cougat.
But I'm serious. I came to see you about someone else.
Everybody does. Lie down, Mr. Cougat.
I won't lie down.
Xavier.
My name is George Cougat. Can't even carry a tune. Now, look, Doctor, my wife is acting strangely, and I want your advice.
Certainly, Mr. Cougat.
And I won't lie down.
As you wish, as you wish. Mr. Cougat.
What?
Do you mind if I lie down?
No.
I've always wondered what it was like. Say, it's nice here. After this, I think I lie down and let the patient sit up. Pardon me, Mr. Cougat. What were you saying?
It's Cougat. I want to tell you about my wife. She locks herself in her room.
Oh, this is very common with married people.
But you don't understand. She laughs. Then she cries. Then she barks like a dog.
That's not quite so common. In fact, that sounds like a serious case of manic depressive psychosis aggravated by alternate canine insanity, prompted by a subconscious desire to put on the dog.
Oh, that sounds awful.
Tell me, Mr. Cougat, do you have a large income?
Oh, I do moderately well. I'm 5th vice president of a bank.
Oh, very interesting.
Well, do you think that has an effect on my wife?
No, but it will have an effect on my bill. I'll tell you what I want to do, Mr. Cougat. I don't want to alarm your wife. I'd like to see her in her home environment. Why don't you call her up and tell her you are bringing a friend home, a business acquaintance? I'll come over this evening. If you like, I'll come for dinner.
You'll come to dinner?
Oh, thank you. I'll be glad to come.
All right, Doctor. Anything you say.
Hello?
Hello, dear. How are you, honey?
Oh, I'm fine.
Dear, I'm bringing a friend home for dinner, an old college chum. Will it be all right?
Oh, an old college chum. Well, of course, dear. What's his name?
Oh, Art Jones.
Oh.
Well, we'll see you later, dear.
All right. Bye-bye. Katie. Oh, I can see his little game. Katie.
Yes, Mrs. Cougat.
There'll be one extra for dinner, Katie. My husband thinks he's going to play a little trick on me.
He does?
Yes, he's bringing a big Hollywood director home, only he wants me to think he's somebody else. Then tomorrow he'll lord it over me and say, see, a Hollywood director in your own home, all to yourself all evening, and you didn't make any impression. That's what he thinks. No impression, eh? I'm going to make a dent.
Well, here we are, Doctor.
No, one moment before we go in. Don't be nervous, Mr. Nougat.
That's Cougat.
It doesn't matter. Now, don't worry if she seems to act normal. I can tell her condition by subtle little actions and movements. Don't do anything to arouse her.
All right. Here we go.
Liz? Liz?
Oh, there you are. Liz, I'd like you to meet an old friend of mine, Art Jones.
How do you do, Mrs. Cougat?
Hello, boys. Say, I'm certainly glad you came up to see me.
What?
How about a drink, boys?
Now, Liz, please.
There's a sofa over there, Mr. Jones. Why don't you get out of that hard chair and slip into something more comfortable?
Well, maybe Mr. Jones likes that chair, darling.
Darling! Now you call me darling. Oh, but what am I when we're alone, your slave? You beat me with a cane and push my poor, broken body down the stairs. Oh, I don't care for myself, but you pushed the children after me.
The children? I did not.
Then where are they? I can't stand it, putting on this sham in front of your friends. I'm leaving this life of hypocrisy. Leaving, do you hear?
Well, Doctor, what do you think?
Don't speak to me, you can't! No, I would suggest that you come to see me every day, Mr. Cougar. You have a serious condition.
I tell you, this is ridiculous. We have no children. Oh, she's making this all up. Oh, wait a minute till I get the door.
Violet, will you buy a poor old lady's violets, Sonny? I haven't eaten in 3 weeks.
Liz, you sound like a goat. Now, take that shawl off your head and come in here.
Just a moment, sir. Here you are, old lady. 50 cents. Keep it.
Blessings on you, sir. Blessings, blessings.
I apologize, Mr. Cougar.
Now things sound different, don't they?
Oh, yeah. You should both come to see me. Now, quickly. You have a maid?
Yes.
Well, ring for the maid. We're going to find out how your wife has been acting around the house today.
Well, I am ringing. I don't know why she doesn't answer. Oh, darn this bell. Maybe it's broken.
All right. I'm coming, Governor. Don't get on about it.
Oh, no. Liz, stop this. It's ridiculous.
Oh, you don't like me as a Cockney, eh? Well, perhaps you'd like me better as a South Sea Island native.
Liz, get up off the floor. What are you doing?
Mi Candeleo.
That's good.
Me love white man. You don't love me?
No. Me answer doorbell.
Well, here's Cartwright, a man of his word.
Oh, hello, Corey.
Where's Liz?
Over there on the floor.
Oh, yes. But I don't know what you're doing on the floor, Liz, but let me present this fellow with me. Mrs. George Cugat, Anatole Brodny.
I'm pleased to... Anatole Brodny? Ah! Then who's this character?
Allow me to present myself, Mrs. Cougar. Reinhold Schweinkampf, psychiatrist.
Oh, help me with her, Corey. She's fainted. Hello?
Hello. May I speak to Mrs. Cougat, please?
Mrs. Cougat is upstairs resting. This is her husband. May I help you?
Oh, this is Mrs. Worthingale, the director of the young matron's play. I called to tell Mrs. Cougat that she got the main part. Congratulations, Mr. Cougat.
Well, I think you'd better forget about my wife for that part, Mrs. Worthingale. After the experience she had tonight, she assured me she has given up the theater for good.
Oh, that's too bad.
Well, goodbye, Mrs. Worthingale.
Goodbye, Mr. Cougat.
Worthingale, Mrs. Worthingale.
What? Hello?
This is Liz Cougat. I've been listening on the telephone upstairs in the bedroom.
Oh, then you heard what your husband said.
Yes, but don't pay any attention to it. I'll see you at rehearsal in the morning.